Hello my friends, and welcome to episode 6. I was dreading this mission because this mission is, the pace on this mission is really high. Obviously by pace, what I mean is the distance between where you start, which is over here, and how far away the furthest objective is. And you'll note that, you've got bonus objectives up here, bonus objectives down here. With only 12 turns, you really have very little time. In fact, if you were to start here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16... and let's say you bring along a freaking Bridge Pioneer. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30... That's being generous. That sets the pace at 3 tiles per turn, which is crazy. Which is absolutely crazy. Right, so first things first, let's just repair our stuff. And let's shuffle this away. I'm going to de-camo this as well. It originally had camo because it was a particularly different kind of artillery, but that's no longer the case. Let's pull the heroes off this one, put it away. Okay. So you do have to use 5 paratroopers here, you position them here, and then you have to go in here, and they're under a lot of pressure, basically from the offset. Which, with no repairs, is going to be incredibly difficult to endure. But anyway, we'll worry about that in a second. Right, where is that other unit which I shuffled it away without actually taking the heroes off it? It was an artillery, wasn't it? There it is. Okay, alright. So before we do anything, now is the time to inventory our units. And by inventory our units, I mean upgrade them or downgrade them. There is, in fact, quite a lot of new gear to look over, and a few things to discuss with the new gear. So we're going to go over that stuff now. Okay, so first things first, nothing has changed as far as infantry are concerned. I don't know whether it's wise or not to deploy frontline infantry on this mission. I would probably guess not. If you look at the map, you've got this thick-ass river here, which you're not going to cross easily. So the main points of ingress are this bridge section here, which allows you to get here, which is where your paratroopers are going to be. And this bit here is quite open. You've got bridges here, here, and here to get in here. So your army that's going to be here is probably best to just literally smash in and down to get across here, or go up here, but doesn't really have a way of getting here. With a pace of 12. So with a pace of 3 hexes per turn, Infantry cannot even undeploy at that speed and fight back without aggressive deployment anyway. I might be able to bring 2 along and use aggressive deployment. I might be able to bring my main infantry along and set them up with aggressive deployment. I do have 2 aggressive deployments available. I don't know, we'll think about that. Okay, in terms of tanks, now is the time to revise. Revise my tank army. Now, whether I bring along the KVs as my artillery or not, I'm not 100% sure, but they do only have 4 movement. With a pace of 3, that could potentially be very crippling. Now, in terms of upgrades, we have the IVD, which offers greater infantry damage, but not really much else. Except that, you know, it's more expensive by quite a bit. And the Panzer 3F, which just offers you a little bit less ammunition, but does keep your... it does give you that extra bit of defense, which can really matter. And then I also have a Flame Waffle, which is definitely superior to the IVD. Anyway, for now, this is a simple upgrade, so I might as well upgrade these to 3Fs. Losing the 1 ammunition for 2 extra defense is worth, in my opinion. So we will make these changes before we decide what we're doing with our prototypes. So it's quite a chore to upgrade a load of stuff. Okay, at least they enjoy some decent speed as well with 5 movement. The Videja, or however that is pronounced, are still a very solid piece of kit. Frankly, it's still better than what I have available right now. And the fact that it only costs 2 core slots just continues to mean that it's sickeningly efficient. Now this guy gains +3 to initiative, so it's pretty easy to just put our new hit and run guy on him. I can see this tank continuing to see a lot of action. I mean, honestly, actually, considering that all my other tanks are going to cost me 3 slots anyway, over-strengthening this might be worth doing. Because I can't repair. You know, never forget that I can't repair my stuff. And that's a very serious issue. Let's give this guy a standard blue stripe. Assuming that I can. I think I had this issue that the Russian tanks did not have access. Oh no, they do have access to standard stripe. They do look slightly different though. Alright, let's continue with our upgrades first before we start shuffling units in for the deployment. Now, this is where things get interesting for recon cars. Probably one of the more complicated choices in the game. So you have the this is the point where the recon car starts costing 3 slots. Now, I don't think it's worth paying 1 slot to gain 3 infantry attack and 2 ground defense. While, I mean, it's situational. These 3-slot recon cars, they get better. And as they get better, this upgrade is worth doing. But at this exact moment, the upgrade is difficult to justify in terms of core slot cost. Now, the motorbike is very interesting, because what the motorbike does, or what the motorbike brings to the table, is it loses the rapid fire 1.5x, which sucks, but it does gain additional soft attack like the 3-slot recon car does. It loses a little bit of hard attack, but that doesn't matter so much because it gains the most important thing of all. It gains close combat, which means you put it in city tiles, forests, etc., and it murders enemy tanks. Because most tanks have got a close combat rating of 0, which means that, you know, even with only 7 hard attack, you are going to brutalize your victim as long as you're not out in the open. So this is actually a really interesting choice, if you will. And so what I recommend is the units which have the all-important steamroller stripe, we want to retain them on the tougher unit path. And the only reason this is worth doing is just because these units are so precious that losing them would really suck. That extra 2 ground defense is really, really important for them. But in terms of combat capability, the motorbike really is better, even if it is a little bit easier to kill. And don't forget that if you're sitting around in close combat tiles, you might be harder to kill in a close combat tile for vehicles. But these guys will get absolutely butchered by infantry, who are much better at close combat than they are. So it's not like you gain great defense against everything. So this is an interesting split for me. Also, the fact that they have close combat means that they can actually earn Urban Legend, technically. But the thing is, Urban Legend requires like 200 close combats to trigger. Honestly, if your recon squads are seeing that much close combat, they'd probably die, so... But it's just a thought. Okay, in terms of anti-tank guns, you know, my disdain for anti-tank guns has really never gone away. What is interesting to me is that the The anti-tank gun just continues to be trash of the highest order. If you upgrade it to this, if you upgrade it to the self-propelled one, self-propelled gun, then it costs twice as many core slots, and also you can't get free overstrength on it. So, you know, the whole thing is depressing. There'll be no improvement in anti-tank guns for a long time for Germany. Now, that said, mobile anti-tank is potentially useful on a mission where you have a high pace like this one. So I'm gonna have a couple of them in case I decide to shuffle them in. Because they can keep up with your front line and provide anti-tank support. This is all open tiles here, so if my tanks are rolling forward and these anti-tank guns roll up behind them, then they do offer that extra bit of protection. But still, I don't find anti-tanks to be that useful. I would rather use artillery where I can use it, but anyway, it's, you know, it's worth reviewing. Okay, so here we are down in artillery land. There's really no difference between German artillery and the artillery that we were using previously. So, you know, nothing to write home about here. We can switch out the awful horse-drawn transport for proper mechanized transport. Since that's now available in this campaign. 15 centimeters. As you can see, there's really no difference. And if you look after your captures, you know, you can take denied artillery forever. If you look after your captures, you'll never have a shortage. All nation artillery is completely identical for, I guess, gameplay balance reasons, so it genuinely doesn't make any difference whatsoever. I still have 76 15 centimeter guns from the Spanish campaign, which is loads. Interestingly, what is nice about them is if we ever take denied artillery again, the ones that I captured will always be there. So even if artillery becomes denied, you can still buy and deploy ones that you have spares. This no longer warrants a special camo. And as you can see here, the 21 centimeter. The only difference is the really old model of 21 centimeter gun has one less ammunition. But that's never really come up as an issue. I think it maybe came up as an issue like once on one map with poor supply. These are my spare 7.5 centimeter guns. You know, once again, I think the German one is actually slightly superior in this one instance. There is a superior 7.5 centimeter available for I'm gonna make this a 21. Because such a great piece of kit. with the veterancy stripe is definitely worth having as a 21. And then, yeah, so the rest of these are 7.5. We need to put our transports back. Nothing too crazy going on here. Okay, so we were gifted a set of rocket artillery. Now, I'm not a fan of rocket artillery, but it is mechanized, which is nice. The problem for me with rocket artillery is that it just compares unfavorably with 15cm guns. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so here's the rocket artillery. So it's got rapid fire 2x. Okay? That's the main reason to take it. What it trades for rapid fire 2x is AT support, which is huge. Now, you can find rapid fire 2x heroes. I haven't got any. And you can find AT support heroes. Now, AT support heroes are rarer than rapid fire 2x heroes. And also, AT support heroes cannot be compensated for. What do I mean by that? Well, if I want this rocket artillery to have the same flexibility as the 15cm gun, I need an AT support hero. That's it. That's my only choice, is to put an AT support hero on it. That's the only way I get that flexibility back. If I want a 15cm gun to perform like the rocket artillery, then I need rapid fire 2x. Or maybe I just need 0 slots and rapid fire 1.5x and to overstrengthen it. Or maybe I just need lethal plus ignores entrenchment. Or, you know, there are loads of ways to add firepower to a unit. But there's no easy way to add AT support to a unit except to have an AT support hero. And AT support heroes are incredibly rare, incredibly valuable, incredibly powerful. Because you can put the AT support hero on literally anything, on a tank, infantry, whatever, and it will fire at units that attack it. And unlike real anti-tank, which does not support each other or itself, AT support heroes do support each other and self. So what that means is, if you have 2 tanks or 2 infantry with AT support, and a tank attacks one of them, they'll both attack the tank and vice versa. With anti-tank guns, they don't support each other. Real anti-tank guns. But the AT support trigger ability does support other units with the AT trigger support ability, as long as that unit is not a real anti-tank gun. Or an anti-aircraft gun in anti-tank mode also counts as a real anti-tank gun. Now, if you look at the other stats, you'll see that the rocket artillery does not compare favorably, because it has less range, and it has less ammunition, and it also has less attack power. So it's literally, you know, it's got that rapid fire 2x, but all of its stats are lower. So compared to the 15cm, you've got to find, to make it comparable with the 15cm gun, you've got to find AT support to put the flexibility back. You've got to use your new female hero that adds like 1 range and 3 ammo. She's basically custom designed for this unit. To put the ammo back and to put the range back, so it's got comparable range, and that's 2 slots used. And then you have the fact that it also, you know, it actually just has lower offensive stats. Now its defensive, offensive stats. Its defensive stats are better, and obviously it's mechanized. But you know, the 15 centimeter, the mechanized version of the 15 centimeter, the Hummel, is exactly the same as the 15 centimeter, just mechanized. So you know, you can have that instead if you wish. But if you want the 15 centimeter to have what the rocket artillery has got, the only thing you've got to find really is firepower. And you know, if you want it mechanized, you just use the Hummel, which is the mechanized 15 centimeter, or you use aggressive deployment hero, which is basically the same as mechanizing, because with aggressive deployment you can just basically move as if you are self-propelled, as if you are mechanized, and just deploy anywhere and fire. So yeah, it's really unfortunate, but I just don't think that the rocket artillery is that good. If you don't have access to heroes, I guess it's got utility, but still, that lack of range and ammunition really hurts it. You know, you may say to yourself, yeah, but what if you don't want to use any heroes? What if you just want to deploy them as is? I mean, considering that the unit costs 5 slots, I highly doubt that you want to just deploy them as is, like they're disposable. But let's say that you do. That short range means that, you know, enemy artillery can attack this thing from outside of its range and really put the hurt on it. So it's very unfortunate, but I don't see, even with a hero that actually covers its weaknesses, even if you put an AT support hero on it and you put Kloss on it to sort out the range and the ammunition trouble, what you've done is you've used 2 heroes to create a 15 centimeter gun that costs 1 more core slot, whereas you could have used much less rare heroes, like vastly less rare heroes. I mean, the ammunition and range hero is unique. You could use much less rare heroes to just simply amp up the firepower of the 15 centimeter gun until it has similar firepower to the rocket artillery, and that's it. That's all you gotta do, and then it's equivalent, more or less, as long as it's not getting attacked. Anyway, feel free to tell me all about this. And by the way, you may think, well, this is much more. It's got much better defense stats. Don't let those fool you either. Don't think that this thing is actually harder to kill than this thing, because it's actually a hard target. And hard targets are actually easier to bring down than soft targets. So artillery is a soft target. That does mean that it's incredibly vulnerable to infantry, but infantry is slow and can be managed. Soft targets are, generally speaking, a lot more resistant to other attacks, especially in the late war. But in the early war, where you've got a lot of rapid fire machine gun weapons around, being a soft target is a bad time. But as the war goes on, being a soft target actually protects you. So it's not a straight comparison either. Anyway, about 5 minutes ranting about the waffle artillery. I won't be using it. I just don't think it's very good. Isn't that sad? But what I will do is I will buy some of them and put them to one side. Because once they're no longer prototypes, then I'll have them spare. Although, is that a good idea? It actually, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's such a shame. Truly a shame. Okay, right. Anyway, there's definitely no need in this universe to have two 21cm guns. So let's downgrade this one to 15. So we've got another deployable 15. We'll definitely take that. What I will do is we will take this opportunity right now to buy the freaking have I deployed too many units? $24, 36. Damn. We will take this opportunity to just buy some artillery and shuffle them away. Future deployment episodes should not involve so much faffing around, but this is our first time really sitting down and stockpiling. Okay. I'm not really that bothered. The reason why I buy them overstrength is not just to just so that they're more expensive. It's because I know that if it's a weird unit that's if it's overstrengthed and it's not a special unit, then I know it's just one that I've purchased to have reserves. Okay, in terms of anti-aircraft, there is the new 2cm gun, which is just straight up better. And I mean straight up better. It enjoys rapid fire 2x instead of rapid fire 1.5x. And I can't remember what else it's got going for it. I don't think there's anything else special about it. But that's, you know, that's a pretty big bonus. To be fair, an extra 2 points of anti-aircraft power is also very nice. There's a mechanized version of it as well, which you know, once again, I'm not the biggest fan of mechanized. Costs extra slots, and those extra slots, they don't really deliver anything for you, generally speaking, except mechanization. But I'm not sure, you know, what situations really require you to roll forward and attack. Anti-aircraft guns, I use them defensively pretty much all of the time. And not offensively, which is what mechanized is good at, is on the offense. Might be good for this mission simply because the pace is so high. There's no real difference between this Flak 18 and the Flak 36. I think there might be a difference when they are in anti-tank mode. Let's check that out. Does it really go and put it in the anti-tank? Oh, that's funny. Okay, the best way to find out would be to just buy a couple. I could already do with buying some anyway, because I've got to hide my money soon. In fact, switching these to anti-tank would probably be a great idea. Okay, so stats 28 on hard, 5 on soft. No, there's no difference. There's literally no difference that I can see. Why did I just do that? There is no difference that I can see. Still, I might as well change this one simply because I can then put the transport on it. So yeah, the mechanized version is basically exactly the same deal, but it's actually slightly slower than the mechanized. This is not a straight upgrade like the non-mechanized one. It's actually slightly slower. Okay, fighters. You know, once again, it's just simple upgrades with fighters. They get slightly better. You upgrade them. And they also have a weird yellow nose cone going on. Now's my opportunity to buy some spares. Keep them on camoed so I know that they're just spares. Okay, so scout plane can be upgraded to something useful. Now, what's interesting about the scout, not the scout plane. What's interesting here is that we finally have a fighter bomber that's actually not garbage. I'm not really a fan of fighter bombers. I think it's this one actually, yeah. I'm not really the biggest fan of fighter bombers. Let's put the old freak plane back down to 4. Because you just, in my opinion, you're just not effective against fighters, and you're also not effective against, you're not effective against fighters, and you're not effective against ground targets. It does allow you to mob the enemy, and they do enjoy superior range. But I'm not a fan. But hey. Some people like them, but I am not a fan. thing is, with the way armor works, you're going to struggle to actually penetrate. Effectively, you're going to struggle to penetrate any target. It's, you know, you're sort of less than the sum of your parts, as it were. Right. Now, one thing we definitely should do is fill our pockets with scout planes. Always useful. Now, I will mostly use auxiliary scout planes, to be fair, because they cost very little, and then you can just, if you know, they're auxiliary, so you lose them at the end of the mission, but who cares? It's not a serious expense. But they're nice to have. Okay, moving swiftly on. These are just spares. Now, strat bombers have gotten interesting because you have reached the point now. I think we've reached the point now where you're almost about to lose the one slot strat bomber. And the one slot strat bomber, you know, it has its utility because for one slot you're still destroying the same amount of entrenchment with one slot as you are for a 2-slot strat bomber. It doesn't, you know, for the most part, it doesn't really change your ability to destroy entrenchment. So, 1-slot strat bombers do have their place in removing entrenchment, and I guess applying suppression to encircled units. So, what I would be tempted to do here is, you do have quality, you know, genuinely high quality 2-slot strat bombers here with great stats, and they're very expensive. So I would be tempted to take the units that have experience and upgrade them to 2-slot strat bombers, which I can't remember if you ever get 3-slot strat bombers, but I don't think that you do. And keep these units as your as you know, your strat bombing backbone, as it were. I do like strat bombers. But what I would then also do is I would buy a load of spare 1-slot ones and keep them to one side. You're probably unlikely to ever lose any. But just keep them to one side for actually strat bombing in, you know, it's situations where you have a grand encirclement going on or something along those lines. Then you can use a big horde of 1-slot strat bombers to de-entrench and apply suppression to units in your grand encirclement. I just know that there's going to be more challenges for me coming up, so I'm really taking the opportunity here to stockpile and address my reserves. I got like 25,000 prestige lying around, which is also pretty funny. Okay, man, it feels like all we've done is deployment episodes. There's 45 minutes of deployment here, but there was just so much I needed to do. So much that I needed to cover. And we've not even actually gotten around to deploying our stuff yet, either. Okay, so our paratroopers are going to be under a lot of pressure here. I don't know if it's worth bringing the KVs and putting auto repair on them. I think considering that the full Scrim Jaeger are going to be on the front line here in a really uncomfortable position for a long time, this might be the one mission where it makes sense. To, no, not 0 slots. Reduced slots, to try and overpower them as much as possible. Where's my other reduced slots? There he is. Okay, we're gonna roll this guy up to the front line as fast as possible to help blast enemy fortifications into the next life. Fast deployment, field repairs, probably not necessary actually. Is there anything more worthy though? Oh yeah, of course I've got to put 0 slots on. Oh. Okay, it's pretty solid. Okay, so these 20 strength guys, they're going to have to survive the front line. This one in particular, I'm going to put him here, because he's going to go here. That's critical. So for him, I need aggressive counterattack and shoots first. Shoots first when being attacked, which should be on this list somewhere. Here we go, readiness. So this unit will be going here. It will be under a lot of pressure there. Then I need a very powerful unit down here to help defend against the enemy. So pretty easy to put old Ole on here. We can't repair him. There's no way to repair him, so no retaliation's the way forward. It does mean that he can be attacked, though. The question is, can we... So this unit here, we'll mark this one in a slightly different color so we know where it's going. This one needs to be here. This one needs to be here. Now with these 3, it's a question of, is there anything we can put on them that's really going to help them survive in this hostile environment? Fearsome reputation and envelopment maybe. Or shock tactics. We'll go with envelopment because obviously they'll be doing the attacking. And do you know what? I'm really tempted to actually bring up the strength of these because, you know, These guys are going to be here on this front line, getting attacked, getting worn down, with no way to reinforce them. And they're not very strong units, really. I think this might be the one mission where it totally makes sense to actually just send in a whole ball of overstrengthed units. Let's go with no surrender. We'll have envelopment on this one as well. Unyielding will help. I can't ignore his entrenchment and double attack. I still haven't decided what I want to do with them. This is not a particularly high level unit, actually. Do you know what? We'll fast learner this one for fun. We'll put no retaliation on this one as well. Ah, why do you do that? Why do you do this to me? Okay. God damn, 51 minutes. Just goes to show how much work needed to be done. Okay, so what do we do about fast attacking here? Skilled support 15cm guns here. Quite a few of them, actually. Okay. There is an airport right here on the front line. So maybe the correct move, because we've got quite a high pace to establish here, maybe the correct move is to actually channel our firepower into brain melting. Channel our firepower into aircraft. So let's shuffle in a couple of fires and a couple of tacticals. This no longer requires a funny camo. Okay, so we're going to use Galland to annihilate the enemy's air force as quickly as possible. I don't know if I want to put double attack on him though, but hit and run is very good for anyone who's got an initiative bonus. I guess there's nothing else I can really give him that's going to help him out. Put cheap replacements on him actually, because I can actually, I think, no, the airbase is not. These airbases are not supply airbases, so cheap replacements guy is useless. Once again, going over strength to try and keep my units in the fight. Train up this guy. Ignores entrenchment is going to allow this to really put the hurt on the enemy. Double attack. We will annihilate anything that we decide to look at funny. Might as well. Doesn't make any difference really. We gotta take this airport ASAP, then move these units up here. We'll then use them to win the fight. Okay, so we've got our anti-air, we've got artillery. What do we use to support our push? Could just go for some 15 centimeter harassment. Do we take some recons? Just to scout with? Let's take our KVs. Why not? They're slot heavy and slow, but they'll allow me to push with confidence. Put field repairs on them so that we don't lose any. We can mutate them into artillery as required. Let's make this one a distraction. Aiming assistance. Shock tactics. I've got some development lying around. No, okay, it's fine. Pretty much invested most of my power into my infantry here, and I needed to. Let's go with fast deployment on this. Let's actually shuffle this out. Let's try and actually have a little bit more tank support here. Let's just throw some basic tanks in. See if I can get some steamrolls on them, who knows. Okay, I do need at some point to hide my money as well, but I don't think I need to just yet. Alright, so let's go with KV here, because let's get the slowest stuff up front. Tank. And recon. So this is a relatively small army that I'm using here. Do you know what is concerning? This is a mission objective tile. There could be a potential for the enemy to run in and grab that. Might be worth actually just leaving one of these behind. In case that is a thing that happens. To be honest, I actually need to... let's just take one recon. I actually need to leave a slot free in case I want to repair any of my stuff. Wait a minute, what happened there? Oh, okay, yeah. There we go. Let's leave that there, just in case, because we're gonna go really aggressive. I'm just gonna take this ball and I'm just gonna go straight up here. If enemy attacks, if this guy's 10 out of 10 entrenched, he'll be able to hold out while my aircraft deals with the threat. If that's the thing that happens, otherwise I've just wasted time, but you know, better safe than sorry. Okay, this lethal artillery is going to help me smash a hole. Because the goal is to break here and break here. There's undoubtedly units here and there's undoubtedly units here. We want to break these 2 points and push into these objectives. And really good artillery that can actually kill units is very useful for doing that. And so are aircraft, obviously. Okay, so all that's left now is, you know, what junky heroes do I have lying around? Cheap replacements. This guy is actually sitting on the, he's actually sitting on the supply hex tile, so he might actually get some benefit out of that. River Assault and Leadership. Leadership is good for putting EXP on units. Recons grow pretty quickly by themselves, though. You know, leadership provides initiative. Initiative might be useful on the front line here, but are any of these traits worth removing for it? Let's do that. I don't find really learns from mistakes is really exciting, but you know, whatever. River Assault. Ugh. I mean, I guess one of these tanks might end up going through the river. We'll find out if that turns out to be a mistake as well. Okay, so next is... let's deploy some auxiliaries. I actually just want to deploy some auxiliary scouts. What annoys me is that I can't choose between auxiliary and not auxiliary, as it were. You know, I want to deploy these as auxiliary. I just deployed the friggin' real one. There it is. So the reserve view. I want to deploy these units as auxiliary, but you can't do it until you've actually deployed every unit that you have. So it's just a little irritating thing. I don't know if there's anything else that I want to deploy as an auxiliary. You know, I could have deployed the rear guard as an auxiliary and actually just had my scout car go on into the mission. Do you know what? That's a better idea. No, wait, it's not, because it wouldn't... I need to keep a core slot. I need to keep a core slot free in case I want to retreat a unit back here to repair it. Although with only 12 turns to play with, I doubt that's going to be the case. We'll keep our auxiliary slots free. We have a supply hex. We can buy whatever we want if we need it. I could deploy some Zerglings. if I wished. Units that I just don't care about. Hmm. 186. Let's deploy, just because we can. Deploy one unit down here, which I'll send it down here to get this village if it's empty. To be honest, I'm needing this less and less now that I think about it, but let's buy... Overstrength is not that expensive for auxiliaries. Let's buy a couple of these here. I probably should have bought them with transport. No, I'm gonna just use them for blocking and splitting. So basically, I've just brought these along. I won't repair them. Well, I can't repair them anyway. I think it's worth the investment to buy these, and then I'll send them. I'll send this one up here for this city. I'll send this one down here for this city, which may not feel like it's worth it, but then I'll just push them up, and hopefully they'll just absorb a load of damage for me. We'll see how it all works out. Okay, that's it. Deployment complete. Maybe I'll stash away my money next time. This is like the longest deployment ever. It could have been 2 episodes, to be frank. But there was a lot to do. There was a lot to consider with the training mission as well. There was a lot to do. So, that is it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time.